Hey everyone, Zero here. Today I'm here to show off the Gouki structure deck that I made. The Goukis are these really cool ogres dressed like wrestlers wielding weapons. Their main strategy is a beatdown strategy, focusing on mid to a high attack monsters to lay the smackdown on their opponents with the help of their effects. And another thing I like to point out before we go over the monsters, most of the main deck monsters share this one effect where if they are sent from the field to the graveyard, then you can add one Gouki card from your deck to your hand. I'd like to point this out now, so I don't end up repeating that effect over and over. If the monster has the effect, then I'll just say that they have the graveyard effect. Now that we got that out the way, let's get started. So first up, we have Gouki Bear Hug. So once he's either normal summoned or special summoned by the effect of a Gouki card, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and have its original attack. This can be easily done with Suprex's effect. He also has the graveyard effect I mentioned. Next, Gouki Moonsault. You can reveal him from your hand, then target one Gouki monster you control except Moonsault, and special summon this one from your hand and return the targeted monster to your hand. While on the field, you can target one Gouki Link monster in your graveyard, return it to your extra deck, then add one Gouki monster from your graveyard to your hand. This card essentially recycles your resources. Next, Gouki Rescorpio. If you control no monster, or if all the monsters you control are Gouki monsters, then you can normal summon him without tributing. This is a really easy thing to accomplish in this deck. He also has that graveyard effect. Next, Gouki Suprex. He's definitely one of my favorites design-wise. He also has a good combo starter. When he's normal summoned, you can special summon one Gouki monster from your hand. This effect helps you fill up your field and to get into link summoning. And he also has that graveyard effect as well. Next up, Gouki Twist Cobra. He's also one of my favorites in terms of looks. So he has a quick effect where you tribute one Gouki monster, then target one Gouki monster you control. That one gains attack equal to the original attack of the tributed monster for that one turn. This is good to strengthen your monsters as long as you have enough monsters on the field. He also has the graveyard effect. Next up, Gouki Iron Claw. When your Gouki monster battles, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and your monster gains 500 attack, and it is also unaffected by opponent's card effects. This is okay to make your monster stronger, but it does also protect it from effects. Your main target for this effect would be Gouki the Giant Ogre, as he gains more attack when his attack is altered in some way. He also has the graveyard effect as well. Alright, here we have Gouki Headbat. You can special summon him from your hand by sending one other Gouki monster from your hand to the graveyard, then target one Gouki monster you control, special summon Headbat in defense position, and if you do, your targeted monster gains 800 attack for one turn. This will help put monsters on your field and make one of them stronger. And he has the graveyard effect. Next, Gouki Guts. He can't be destroyed by battle while in defense position. He also has these two other effects. One is the graveyard effect, and the other is you can make all Gouki monsters you control gain 200 attack. He's alright. His attack boost is most likely only helpful towards the Giant Ogre, and his battle destruction protection is okay, but there are ways around it. Next, Gouki Octostretch. He's a good defensive card. You can discard him and take only half battle and effect damage. And he's the last one with the graveyard effect. So we don't have to worry about that repetition. Next, Gouki Ring Trainer. He has a pretty good effect that can get you to link summon again. If you control no monsters, you can reveal this card in your hand, then target one Gouki Link monster in your graveyard, and you can special summon them both. The downside is your Link monster loses 500 attack. Ring Trainer also can't be destroyed by battle when you control a Gouki Link monster, but I don't think that effect is all that important if you're just going to use him to link summon. Next up, Gouki Tag Partner. If he's sent to the graveyard as link material for the link summon of a Gouki monster, then you can have that Gouki link monster gain 1000 attack for the turn. You can also banish this card from your graveyard, except during the turn he was sent to the graveyard, to send one Gouki spell card from your graveyard to the deck. This is good to make one of your link monsters stronger and to recycle your material back into the deck. Alright, so these next few monsters I'll be going over aren't Gouki monsters, but I think they'll be helpful in some plays. Here we have Marauding Captain. He's an old school card with an effect similar to Suprex. When he's normal summon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. With him, your opponent can't select another warrior monster you control as an attack target. Here we have Super Quantum Red Layer. I really like this archetype. I'm fairly certain they're meant to reference Power Rangers with their names and looks. Maybe I'll talk about them another time. For now, let's just talk about Red Layer. I mainly put him in this deck because of this one effect where he can special summon himself from your hand if you control no monsters. This is to help you put monsters on the field. His other effects only benefit the Super Quant archetype, so we won't go over those effects. Here we have Fire Flint Lady. She has a pretty good effect where she can special summon herself from the hand if you control a warrior monster. She can also send herself from the field to the graveyard, so you can special summon one level 4 or lower warrior monster from your hand, and if you do, your opponent can't target that new monster with card effects. Here we have Ash Blossom. Can't have a deck without her. She's just mandatory in the current meta. Here we have Battle Guard King. He's pretty okay. He has the effect where you contribute any number of warrior monsters and he can make one additional attack for each monster tributed. Next we have Dino Wrestler's Pancrochops. It feels pretty appropriate to add him to the deck since the Dino Wrestlers also belong to Go Onizuka in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains anime. Also, he just has a pretty good effect for going second. If your opponent controls more monsters than you, then you can special summon him from your hand. You can also tribute one Dino Wrestler monster, then target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Here we have Junk Forward. Here's another monster who can special summon itself from your if you control no monsters. I put it here to help build your board. Here we have Warrock Gactos. If an Earth Warrior monster is normal summoned to your field, then you can special summon him from the hand. This is super easy to accomplish in the deck since all Gouki monsters are Earth Warrior monsters. His other effects are associated with his archetype, so we won't be going over those. Lastly, for the monsters, we have Blue Mountain Butterspy. She can't be normal summoned or set, but can be special summoned if you normal summon a warrior monster. She also can't be used as synchro material, which is okay since we don't have any in this deck. Alright, next up are the spells. Here we have Gouki Cage Match. Once this field spell is activated, place 3 counters on it. If your Gouki monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, then you remove 1 counter from this card. At the end of the battle phase, and this card has no counters, you could special summon as many Gouki monsters as possible with different names from your hand or deck. Then place 3 new counters on this card. The best monster to use for this effect would most likely be Master Ogre, since he can do multiple attacks. Next we have Gouki Face Turn. With this card, you can target 1 Gouki monster you control and 1 in your graveyard, and basically switch them out. Here we have Gouki Finishing Move. With this card, target 1 Gouki Link monster you control and it gains attack equal to his Link rating times 1000. It also deals piercing battle damage. This is a good card to overcome any strong monsters your opponent might have, or just to finish them off. Here we have Gouki Rematch. This card lets you special summon 2 Gouki monsters with different levels from your graveyard. This helps you get more material for link summoning. Alright, here we have Monster Reborn. Self-explanatory, special summon a monster from either grave. Here we have Terraforming. Another simple spell, search for your field spell from your deck. Next, 1 for 1. Send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard and special summon 1 level 1 monster. You got 4 monsters to choose from: Guts, Octostretch, Ring Trainer, and Fireflint Lady. Your target depends on your situation, but the main ones would most likely be Fireflint Lady or Ring Trainer. Next we have the Reinforcement of the Army. This lets you get a level 4 or lower warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Here we have the Warrior Returning Alive. Lets you get a warrior monster back from your grave to your hand. Here we have Reinforcement of the Army's Troops. This continuous spell card lets you special summon a level 4 or lower warrior monster when an attack is declared involving your warrior monster. It's once per turn, so you have to choose wisely. Here we have Lightning Blade. Gotta add some equipped spells with the warrior monsters, so I added this one. Your warrior monsters gain 800 attack, while all water monsters lose 500. Here we have Transmodify. You can send 1 face-up monster you control to the graveyard and special summon 1 monster from your deck with the same type and attribute, but 1 level higher. This is a good way to activate your Gouki's graveyard effects and bring out another from your graveyard. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 from your deck. Here we have Living Fossil. This lets you special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard and equip it with this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. That monster also loses 1000 attack, and its effects are negated. This was added just to help get Link with summon material. Here we have Infernoble Arms Durandal. When this card is equipped to a monster, you can add 1 level 5 or lower fire warrior monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy this card. On the other hand, if the equipped monster is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 5 or lower fire warrior monster from your graveyard and special summon it. Your only targets in this deck would be Super Quantum Red Layer or Fireflint Lady. Alright, that's it for the spells. Now let's get into the traps. Here we have Call of the Haunted. We've seen this card a lot. Special summon from the grave. When this card leaves the field, destroy the monster. If the monster is destroyed, destroy this card. Here I added Rivalry of the Warlords. Each player can only control 1 type of monster. Send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. So if you control a warrior type, then you can only control warrior types, which is pretty good for this deck since it consists of nothing but warriors. Alright, here we have Quaking Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you change all your opponent's attack position monsters to face down defense position. Also, all monsters whose positions change because of this effect can't change their positions. This is good to save yourself from an attack and to leave your opponent in a tough spot. Here we have Desperate Tag. I added this continuous trap card to go with the wrestling theme, and also because I think it has a pretty useful effect. If an attack position monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can reduce whatever damage you would have taken to 0 and special summon 1 level 4 or lower warrior monster from your hand. Alright, next is Expendable Die. Here's one if you're desperate. Tribute 1 warrior monster, then target 1 card on the field, destroy it, and if you succeed, draw 1 card. And lastly for the traps, we have Back to the Front. This last trap lets you special summon one monster from your graveyard in defense position, kind of like Call of the Haunted, but more defensive. Alright, now time to get into the extra deck. Here we have Gouki Heal Ogre. Requires 2 Gouki monsters as link material. Once per turn, when a monster this card points to activate its effect, you can negate the activation, destroy it, then special summon 1 Gouki monster from your graveyard. Now you could use it to negate your opponent's monster, but you could also use it to negate your own Gouki monster. This will help you build your board and link summon. Alright, next we have Gouki Jet Ogre. Requires 2 Gouki monsters as link material. You can target 1 Gouki card you control, destroy it, and change all monsters on the field to face-up attack position. If he's sent from the field to the graveyard, then you can make all Gouki monsters you control gain 500 attack for 1 turn. His effect will be good if he's used to summon Gouki the Giant Ogre, because he has an effect that involves his attack being altered. Next, we have Gouki the Thunder Ogre. Requires at least 2 Gouki monsters as link material. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle, this card gains 400 attack. This effect isn't once per turn, so you can technically get this card a lot of attack. You can also normal summon one monster this card points to, in addition to your normal summon. Next we have Gouki the Solid Ogre. Requires at least 2 Gouki monsters as link material. He can't be destroyed by battle or card effects while it points to a Gouki monster. He has a quick effect where once per turn you can target 1 Gouki monster in your main monster zone and move it to your main monster zone this card points to. So as long as you have another Gouki on the field, this guy can't be destroyed. Next, Gouki the Blade Ogre. Requires at least 2 Gouki monsters as link material. He gains 300 attack for each monster it points to. Once per turn, you contribute 1 monster this card points to on either field. This card can make a second attack. This is a pretty decent effect to get rid of a monster on your opponent's field, you know, as long as it's right across this card. Alright, next we have Gouki the Great Ogre. Here's this archetype's ace monster, and he's a good one. He requires at least 2 Gouki monsters as link material. All monsters on the field lose attack equal to their original defense. And if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could destroy one of your monsters in this card points to instead. This guy is good at weakening your opponent's monsters and protecting himself, as long as he has monsters to throw under the bus. Alright, next we have Gouki the Power Load Ogre. Now he can be link summoned with just warrior monsters, not specifically Goukis, so that's what the other warrior monsters I added in this deck are for. He requires at least 2 of them to be link summoned. He gains attack equal to the combined link ratings of all other link monsters you control. You can also tribute 1 Gouki link monster, then target cards on the field up to its link rating and destroy them. Also, this link summon card is unaffected by other card effects, which means your opponent can't really do much to him. Downside is you can't either. He only has this effect if he's properly link summoned, so if you bring him back from the grave, he doesn't get this effect. Next, Gouki the Destroy Ogre. Requires at least 2 Gouki monsters as link material. He protects the monsters he's pointing to from battle destruction once. Also, once per turn, you let your opponent special summon 1 or 2 monsters from their graveyard, then you special summon the same amount of non-link Gouki monsters from your graveyard to zone he points to. It's kind of like a rematch, but with extra steps. Alright, here we have Gouki the Master Ogre. Now here we have what's generally considered the boss monster of this archetype. Requires at least 2 Gouki monsters as link material. Once per turn, you can return to the hand any number of Gouki monster this card points to, then target the same number of face-up cards your opponent controls, and their effects are negated for the rest of the turn. He can also attack all of your opponent's monsters, although he has to attack the one with the highest attack first. Now, last of the extra deck monsters, we have Gouki the Giant Ogre. Now here's who I think is the real boss monster. Requires at least 3 Gouki monsters as league material. Now he can't be destroyed by battle and is unaffected by the effects of your opponent's monsters that have less than or equal attack as his. And an effect targets him or a monster he points to, you can make him lose 500 attack and negate the effect. Also, if his attack is different from his original, you can make him gain 1000. This is pretty easy to accomplish with the aforementioned Jet Ogre, and he's pretty tough to get rid of, making him a suitable boss monster. And that covers the Gouki structure deck. From what I recall, they did pretty well in events, and I think they're pretty strong. They could use some new support. I know there are some cards that haven't used from the anime they could make. I was also thinking of adding some Xyz monsters to this deck as well, but I wasn't sure which ones. Actually, I think it'd be pretty cool if they made some Synchro and Xyz monsters. Anyway, that's it for this video. I have some structure decks I'm making, but if there are suggestions, I'm more than happy to hear them. With that said, if you enjoyed, leave a like and comment. Until next time, see ya!